California base, December of Universal Century 0085. Lieutenant Ernest McGuire is having a mock battle with a promising cadet, Van Asiliano. Under normal circumstances, he probably would have become a fine Federation pilot, but in today's episode of Gundam Lore, we're having a look at how the Titans' cruelty and ineptitude left some of their own men with no other choice than to turn against them. When Van returned home that day, everything seemed normal. He'd put up a good fight against Ernest, who was also one of his best friends, and part of the reason why he wanted to become a pilot in the first place. The worst thing he had to worry about was Danica McGuire. She was the younger sister of Ernest and also a good friend of Van. The thing was though, she was a cadet just like Van, and her hit rate in the simulator was better, so she was understandably a bit pissed off that Van was chosen to have a mock battle before her. And the weak excuses that Ernest offered didn't make things any better. But hey, next time would be her chance, and then this small issue would resolve itself, no problem. This was nothing compared to how much the three of them had gone through together during the 1-year war. During one of Zeon's drop operations, they were separated from everyone else, and with the help of a lone Federation soldier, they had to fight to survive and to get themselves back to friendly territory. But this was easier said than done. During a pursuit by a Wappa, Van was seriously injured, and shortly after this, the Federation soldier would give up his own life to act as a decoy so that the three of them could get to safety. Even though he only had an anti-tank rifle, he used it to take out the Zaku's Monoai and managed to distract it just long enough. Once they arrived at a Federation field hospital, Van would get the aid that he needed, but they would also learn of an unsettling truth. The supposed Federation soldier that helped them fight off the scary Zeons was actually a Zeon soldier himself. For Ernest, the answer was simple. He was nothing more than a mere spy. But in Van's head, that just didn't make sense. Why would he have risked his life for them if that was the case? This was a question that would continue to linger in his mind even 6 years later. Once back home, Van had a look at his father's camera. He was a wartime correspondent, and in UC 0083, he went to cover the Delos incident. The only thing that came back was that camera. Thinking back at the death of his father and the panic that spread as a result of Zeon's second colony drop, Van wondered what he could do to prevent another war from breaking out. But all of a sudden, the doorbell rang. It was an old friend of his father's who was looking for him. But before Van could tell him that he'd passed away, the clearly distraught man gave him an SD card and told him to give it to his father. After this, the man jumped into his car and disappeared into the rainy night, leaving Van with the mysterious card. Unable to control his curiosity, he inserted it into his computer and found a video that shook him to his very core. Unsure of what to do, he asked Danica for help and showed her the video. It started off with just a space colony, but then a Hyzak and a Jim Quell carrying a G3 gas container entered the scene. The video showed how they landed on the colony, attached the container, and released the gas. This was followed by footage of the horrible aftermath. Van had absolutely no idea what this could be, but Danica had a hunch. Half a year ago, news broke about how an infectious disease had wiped out an entire colony. That colony was the 30 Bunch colony. As a result, this terrible event became known as the 30 Bunch Incident, a name that in the coming years would get quite a different meaning. Danica found it highly suspicious that this epidemic just happened to occur immediately after an anti-Federation demonstration was held. So in her mind, it made sense that these two events were somehow connected. Van was in shock. He understood what she was saying, but he just couldn't believe that they would resort to poison gas to quell a mere demonstration. However, Danica also didn't rule out the possibility that what they saw wasn't actually the truth. For all they knew, it was nothing more than a fabrication made by some anti-Federation group. There was no time to consider that possibility anymore though. Almost as soon as the words had left Danica's mouth, Van received a disturbing news flash on his computer. The reporter who'd given him the SD card was found dead after he'd driven his car into a river, and according to eyewitnesses, it seemed as if he was being followed by another car. Of course, this still wasn't concrete evidence, but things were definitely beginning to add up. And that is all for today's episode of Gundam Lore from the Advance of Zeta: The Traitor to Destiny manga, a series that unfortunately seems to have been cancelled. Officially, the manga went on hiatus due to health conditions with the mangaka, but apparently his workflow remained the same, so this would definitely indicate that the series was either quietly cancelled due to poor sales, poor reception, or simply because the mangaka himself decided to stop. Whatever the case may be, it is a shame because it's definitely a nice manga, and I would totally buy the second volume if they ever were to finish it. The art style of the characters might be a bit generic, but I do like it. What I absolutely loved when reading this manga then was that I could totally tell which model kits were used as a base for the drawings. This gym is based on the High Grade Universal Century, this one is based on the old Master Grade 1.0, and this Gym Quell here is based on the Master Grade. Those feet are a dead giveaway. Anyways, be sure to leave a like and stay tuned for part 2. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.